Internet. Welcome to another episode of Chai and Chill. Joining us today is a poet, an author, also a tarot card reader, and works full time at an FMCG, Sanhita Baruah. Thank you so much for joining me on Chai and Chill, Sanhita. And before we jump into our conversation, this is a bit that has become very popular. My storyteller cup. I've gone back to my roots.
I have a cup as well, and I have chai in it, something we both love.
So, what I want to talk to you about today, especially in Chai and Chill, is tarot cards. And my first question to you is what introduced you into this amazing world of tarot?
Okay, so I think I did my first. So it goes back to 2012 when a very senior person to me, who's also a writer, was also doing tarot card reading. At that time, I was in college and I did not even have the money to pay for a reading. So I chose not to, but we did discuss about one card, that is the Fool. And we were discussing on how much we both love the card and, taking a leap of faith. Having said that, fast forward to 2020, in March, I did a proper session of tarot mixed with healing of archetypes by a very famous tarot reader called Minu Malhotra, someone who I really admire. Was that there was nothing about tarot in my life. I was more into access bars healing and access facelift healing. But the situation is that's an in-person treatment. It's an in-person healing session. So we have to meet the other person. But due to COVID pandemic, meeting people was a bit risky as well as not appropriate. That's when I realized that I can mix tarot reading along with healing, access bars healing. So I tried first to see how it works out, and then eventually it became a thing. I tried with free readings in the beginning, and then eventually when I realized, okay, it's going pretty well, so I took it professionally, like part time professionally.
There has been a very surge in demands for actual tarot card readers now because people go to tarot card readers way more now that I see them than when I first got interested in it, like which was 5 years ago.
It might be because I really did not know when one day I just woke up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do some readings for free to see how where it goes, and there were a lot of people asking for it, and then I realized that okay,
Oh,
maybe I mean
demand.
the interest is more than I had assumed it would be, and yes, I mean I get more clients than the time I have to do this.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty in demand. People do go for it, and the fact that now we can do it online. I mean, this is something that can be done online. It actually aids to this. So yes, I do not know if earlier it was in the same demand or not because maybe we were not in the same phase or same sphere. So I cannot comment if it has grown, but all I have realized when I have gone into it that there are more people than I thought there would be. So
True. Now, there are many different kinds of tarot decks, right? So tell us about the one that you particularly like using and if you have a favorite tarot deck.
so I have not experimented with tarot decks as per se. I went with the first one. So Himani Goyal is the one who suggested me to take up tarot reading. She is also a tarot reader, and she suggested Rider Waite card, which is very popular. So I used that, and it's something that has stuck with me. So
Hmm.
now it has been what 5 months. So after this, I might need another set, and then the experimentation will begin. So I think it's too early to say that, oh no, this is my favorite deck. But what I can say is this has worked for me.
So, someone recently told me that tarots are supposed to be gifted to you. You're not supposed to purchase your own deck of cards. That's just a myth, or is that truth to that?
I have never heard of this, so no, I don't know. I'm sure Himani also purchased her own decks. I am also purchasing my own decks. I know a few other people. I haven't heard that it was something that was gifted. So
Yeah,
something
I
that
just
was
think
very
the
bad.
person wanted to really give me a tarot card deck and made it up because I was refusing to take it.
That's so nice. No, you should take
It's
it.
very sweet.
Yeah. मेरे को भी दे दो किसी को if somebody wants to give me a tarot card deck. I'm more than happy.
I'm sure people might. They might just go, hey, but what's your address? That's very creepy. I didn't intend it to go that creepy.
Great way to find the address.
See? So you have this page called Step Up Saturdays with the sole purpose of helping others and offering to read tarot for them. So that is what prompted it, I'm guessing, when you realize that there's a huge demand for knowing
Yes,
the.
yes. So I had this page right from 2019. At
Mhm.
first, it was called Saturdays for Support
Oh.
because I wanted to make a support group out of that. And then I realized it didn't work that way. Okay. Then I had this page like quietly. I always had Step Up Saturdays, and it was only for my access bars and access facelift sessions. And then pandemic happened, and then this happened, and then I realized it's time to step up in life. And so you are aware that I got COVID in September,
Hmm.
and it was all after that now I'm like, pata nahi, I'm going to be alive or not. Let me just take the plunge and do it because ke pehle I was more like, I work a full time job, and I'm in this MBA sphere, and people are gonna judge me or I don't know what. But then I'm like, छोड़ो, कल को मर जाएंगे, पता नहीं क्या होगा. So time to step up. So yes, coming back to your question, Step Up Saturdays was happening, and I clubbed it with tarot and exercise and all the alternative healing methods I'm going to do in the future. So the name Saturdays because weekend pay I can do it. So mostly Saturdays is when I do.
I totally get it. As people who have full time jobs, it is difficult to find time, and especially because I know you are involved in a lot of other things where you're constantly writing, you're constantly, well, reading. So, skip beach to give. And as for the reading, tarot readings, we have discussed this a lot of times offline that you need to be in a certain frame of mind, you need to be in a certain energy. You can't really do it in the middle of work, take a 5 hour, 30-minute lunch break and do a reading. I don't think it works like that.
True, 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 true. You have to be in the energy, you have to be in the space. And this is when I started charging for my tarot sessions. If you remember, at first I was doing it for free, and then I realized that, my energy was actually depleting after every session. It was too much. And then I started, compartmentalizing and, having a proper schedule. I have an assistant also who helps me make the schedule so that I'm not attached to the client so much, when so all the talkings before the session she does it, and then when it comes to the session I do the session, and then we close it. Anything beyond that, she is the one who handles it, and that's to protect my energy. That's all.
That's so good. So, the other thing is, how most people, myself included, we are very obsessed about knowing about our love lives and how if we'll end up together and all that. So sometimes you think if you constantly keep asking the cards the same question, they just give you random answers because they are just done with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So first rule is, if you have asked one question once, do not ask the same question for 3 months. You should not. We do that, you have done that, I have done that. That's not right. We mess with the energies. So अगर 3 months नहीं होता ना, then 1.5 months, we are okay using Hindi in between, or do we have to edit that? No.
It's okay.
Okay. So yeah, so yeah, so the question, yeah, coming back to the question. So the first rule is that we have to wait for at least 3 months to repeat the same question again, because with that same question and with that answer, your energy is in a certain way. It has chosen a certain path. When you ask it again and again and again, you're missing that path. You're missing your energy as well. So 3 months is my rule. If it's very urgent or something has changed drastically, I can give 1.5 months or 2 months to that client for the same question again. But never in the same time, never too quick.
Yeah, okay, this kind of begs the question, why are we so obsessed about knowing who do we end up with? Because Most people I have spoken to, and if I have spoken to them about, hey, my friend does this tarot reading thing and all that, oh, do you think I'm dating this person? Do you think I can ask? So many other things going on in your life. You want to ask this? Sure.
Love is important. Everybody has the question of love, and it's an
Yeah,
important part of our life. Having said that, who we end up with, that's something even tarot cannot answer. Nobody can
that was
answer
going to be
because,
my next question. Do you think tarot can
yeah,
actually answer that?
because our energies change, we change as people, right? If you want to, see again, marriage is one thing, but you don't know what the future holds that way. My rule of tarot is I will only see for the next 6 months, maximum 1 year. I'm not going to say beyond it because I would allow you. See, this is because I also do healing. So I mix my access tools with my tarot reading. Because I'm going to allow you to choose. I'm going to allow you to choose a path ahead, and I will see. Okay, these are the paths that you can take with this person. It's likely to end up with, or and it's better for you financially or emotionally with this person or that person. But I will only say till 1 year. I'm not going to say forever because ये नहीं होता है. It doesn't work that way. Our life doesn't work that way. We are all dynamic creatures, and see, again, when we speak about tarot, it's more spiritual in nature, and then when we speak about that love, it's more spiritual in nature rather than a practical love. That's why when I somebody has to know that okay, is this the person who is going to be in my life forever? Then I asked him, is it marriage you are talking about? Because marriage is something very practical. Marriage is something that is very plausible that yes, I'm going to be married to this person forever or till the end of time or till the end of my life. That can be done. But you understand what I'm talking about, right?
Yep, I do. So I told you that previously we had the person who practices astrology, and then she was of the opinion that people do not come as solutions. We tend to look at people as solutions to our problems, but they mostly come into your life to teach you lessons. Do you agree with this, or do you think that because they cannot? I do understand how they can't be solutions to your problems. No one can come in and say that, hey, now that I have arrived, all your problems are going to disappear.
True, true, true.
It's a very fairy
I
tale
agree.
uh, idea, right? The prince comes and everything is suddenly magically in place.
नहीं होता है ना. Even that prince will need somebody. In that it's a support system that you create whenever you are with somebody. It's like you meet them halfway. He gives 50%, you give 50%, or vice versa. It's not that he's going to come and then solve all our problems. Nobody has that power. Then you go for God, and then you keep on choosing which God do I go for. But it doesn't work that way. People, yes, but every person who comes into your life at different times teaches you some lesson. You learn something out of it. That lesson doesn't have to be something negative. It
Yeah.
has to be some contribution they have made to your life and your belief system and your life process. Everybody you have met, even a friend. So that's what I believe too. So I totally agree with her.
So, as a tarot reader, I'm sure you've always given yourself self readings as well. Do you think those are accurate, or how accurate do you think self reading can be?
I'm bad at self readings. I am totally because there's so much prejudice. Even somebody was telling who was an astrologer that they also cannot do it for themselves. Like I don't know if you remember. I keep telling them I want somebody to do it for me just exactly the way I do it, but I can't do it for myself because there is a lot of prejudice. Because in my mind, in my conscious mind, I know nahi mujhe to yahi karna hai. So no matter what the readings gonna come, I'm like no, can't do it for myself. I wish I could. It doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, I have. We have spoken about this. Like I told you that every time I've been in a certain way and I've been seeking a certain answer, I kind of influence the cards to tell me that because it's my energy.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, when I don't know the person, like if I'm doing it for you or anybody, then I go with my intuition, right? But how do you do it for yourself when you already know what you know and then you don't give your intuition that space to operate? Mostly you do not. I'd be glad to reach a level that I can, but even if it says the correct truth and everything, I'm not going to believe it. I would want that my life be a suspense that way, Key. But yes, if somebody else does it, then great.
You have mentioned quite a few times about access healing. What exactly is that? Because I first came across it via you when you told me about it.
Right, right. So these are some practices that I do as a practitioner. One is access bars. There are like 32 points on your head which are gently touched. With every point has is related to some part of your life and some blocked energies. So it's about releasing those blocked energies. It's like in psychology you will call it limiting beliefs.
Mm.
Then the next thing that I do is access facelift. It is mostly some parts of your face is touched, and it's mostly, and it can also happen in any part of your body. It's mostly about fastening the healing system, a healing process of the body, and also works for body image issues and all. So these are two things that will probably is not very famous, not very glorified, but these are things that it works. So that's what I do. I practice this too.
And do you have any advice for anybody who's watching this and going, "Ooh, sounds fun. I want to take up tarot now."
Yeah, one advice is do take tarot, but always ask the right question. I always keep saying that in my profile also. Ask the right question. Don't say, oh, will this happen or not? If you want something to happen, ask the cards, how do I make it happen? Is that not helpful for you rather than asking, oh, will it happen? Or what if I tell you it will not happen? Or what if I tell you it will happen? But you're just going to be happy, right? Nothing. So might as well ask, how do I make it happen? Or what are the chances of this happening? So that you know where to. Okay, I always say this because I play poker a lot. I always treat this as poker, where to put your bets on. Let's say you have three options. Where do I put the higher bet on? Which will be more beneficial to me. So ask the right questions. That's very important. And always feel free to reach out to me because I always help the client reframe the question so that it helps the client. So
And finally, where do they find you?
they will find me on my personal profile that is almost dot everybody on Instagram, and my other profile that is Step Up Saturdays. No dots, no no hyphens.
Yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me on Chai and Chill. I had a very fun time picking your brains about tarot, and I cannot wait
Lovely
to
talking to you.
have a
Great
conversation
questions,
about
I
both.
must say.
Yeah.